Hey guys, I hope you can hear me and see me. I just want to jump live on YouTube here because I know my post, the one I did about values, had a lot of views. So I thought maybe you guys can ask questions about that. Again, I just want to kind of jump aboard here and we'll see if I get anyone here asking any questions. But in the meantime, when I was talking about values, this is a good example of one of my paintings. Hopefully, it doesn't shine, but you can clearly see the value difference between the trees, and they're the same exact. This tree is the same exact trees that are back here. It's just difference in values. The problem is that a lot of you think about color first and not value first. So you have to think in terms of values, how light or dark something is, rather than color. I think that's where the problem starts. So, if you have any questions, by the way, I see one of you are on there. Maybe more of you will come on, but if you have any questions, just type into the box, and you can you can basically use black and white paint, and that's what I would suggest for most of you that are struggling with values, to create depth in your paintings, to use black and white paint, like this painting right here. I have a few of them here. Like this painting is very crystal clear, right? The value between the tree and the mountain, right? And it's kind of reversed, so I gotta show it the other way. It's very clear, and I want to make sure that the value difference between the mountain and the the tree and the mountain is pretty major, because there's a probably a miles of difference between the two. And again, this could be achieved with black and white paint. So if you're struggling with values, it's not the color. You guys thinking too much about color, and people get pulled in by color so easily. If you were in my class, I would say, if you're struggling with values, let's get the black and white paint out. And ivory black and like a titanium white would do it. Ivory black, it's a little more cooler black, but any kind of black would do. This is another good example too of values. Now you might not see it. I'm trying to put it. Try to put it where you can see it with the light better. But again, the tree in the foreground is lighter in value than the tree in the back. Now sometimes it's not the same. I mean, it's not as obvious. All right. But there is also value difference, and that's up to you to push those values. If I want this tree to come pop forward, my depth values will be darker. Also, my colors will be more vivid. But the problem is that people talk about color uh, too soon, I think, and especially when you're learning to paint, how to get that three-dimensional depth in your painting. By the way, ask any question that you may have. Don't be shy. I know some of you are on. Hi there. I'm talking about values here. If you have any questions about values, I was showing a couple of paintings about values. This is a little 6x8, a little California scene, and I was just suggesting, if you're struggling with values, to really literally just paint black and white. I think many of you are overcomplicating things by using color right away, and color is great. I mean, it's a very emotional thing, but I would not use color first if you're struggling with values. And I see about 3, 4 of you on live, so you can kind of say something in the chat box where you guys are from. We'd love to hear. If you're struggling with any other topic, although I want to talk about values today, um, I'm up for anything if you have a question. But otherwise, I'm kind of just talking to the camera here. If you're not asking questions, and I have no problem talking to the camera. But if you want to learn, I'm giving you a little free little advice today if you want on the house. Kind of, this is a good example too. There's a scene in Colorado. The mountains back here are a lot lighter than anything up here. All right, and I want to make sure that the value up here is darker than anything back here. Not color. You guys are thinking color. All right, so make sure you're not thinking color here. You're thinking value. Oops, maybe I hold it this way. You can see it a little better, right? So the mountain is on purpose lighter in value than the foreground and the trees. Okay, so that's super important. Um, and if you're struggling again with color, I mean with depth, it's not your color per se. It's it can be partially because you're making things a little too warm, but most likely the culprit is values. So the culprit is values if you don't have depth in your painting. So where you guys are from, type into your chat box. All right, Jen, Arizona, awesome. She says, I've never thought about trying values with black and white. Yeah, it's kind of it's one of the best way to simplify things in your artistic life. Um, Color is very seductive, but it's not the answer to your problem if you have depth issue. When I went to art school, that was one of the exercises that we did is using black and white paint. If you want to have some color in there, then you can use a palette of burnt sienna, which will be like your red a little bit, ivory black, which will be your blue, and then yellow ochre, which will be your yellow. But what's going to happen is that it's going to hold you back with color, and it's going to be more about the value plus white, by the way. So again, that's a good palette. It's ultramarine. I mean, it's ivory black for your blue, burnt sienna for your red, and yellow ochre for your yellow. And as I mentioned, those colors, it's going to hold you back. It's going to be a little frustrating for you because you're not getting these bright colors, but it's more of a lesson in value. So if you want to use color, that's a good palette to it's a good palette to use. So if you more and more of you are coming on, so ask away. I'm talking about values now. If you're struggling with values, I was showing. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's one of the paintings that I was showing you about values. How the tree is these trees are the same trees as this one in the front, but because of how light or dark I made it appears that it's moving back in space. Now I also put more white into it, so there's color involved with this. But I think the problem with a lot of students is that you guys want to get these beautiful, colorful paintings, and then you forget about value. So Deborah, please go over those muted colors. Oh, the muted color palette. So it's ivory black, which will be your bluish, because that's cool. It's a cooler black. So ivory black. Burnt sienna will be your red, and the yellow ochre will be your yellow, and then plus white. So that palette. This is from Skip Whitcomb. I don't know if you guys know Skip. Make sure you look his work up. Phenomenal artist. One of my painting heroes. And I took a workshop from him, and he told us about this, and we did it in class. And it's a phenomenal palette for old illustrators use this palette before. All right. Can you give thoughts on limiting values to 3 to 5, like many painters do? Can you give okay? Can you give thoughts on limiting values to 3 to 5? So yeah, this is a big one. Well, so this goes hand in hand with shapes. You should not have more than 5 shapes in a painting. So this is a good example. Big shape, you got 2, and then 3, maybe 4. This other one, that's it. Four shapes, 2. So as far as values go, uh, I'm not limiting. I'm not limit. Well, how should I say this? So you can do those notans where you keep like take a photograph, right? You have a photograph and then reduce it to 3 to 4 values. Yes, that's a good idea to do. That's just for simplification. That's a really good idea, by the way. And Archeos AI was asking. I don't know what your name is, but you should be reducing paintings down to 3 to 4 shape. I mean, 3 to 5 shapes, and then let's say 3 to 4 or 5 values too. That's the backbone of most paintings. Yeah, it's a great question, by the way. Absolutely. Yeah. You're welcome, Deborah. Yep. And if you guys have any other questions, just shoot away. This is not rocket science. I think I don't know if it's the teachers sometimes or the students overcomplicate things, but I've been teaching for a while and running the online academy, Tucson Art Academy online. I'm the one and my wife behind it. Man, I watch so many demonstrations for some of these great artists, and it's the same thing comes up in their demos all the time. It's the same, just they're just saying it a little differently. And I see that students overcomplicating things. It's really like us. I was a student. I'm still a student. I'm always going to be a student. I'm just saying that in the beginning when I'm learning about this, I overcomplicated it. I'm trying to drill it into the student's head that it doesn't have to be that complex. So ask away any questions you guys have. If it doesn't have to be values per se, if you're stuck with something else, I just jumped on live. I just want to test the live out because I've been posting stuff on my YouTube channel lately. I just kind of want to, you know, give more to you guys if you're struggling with some things. I haven't taught in a while because I've been busy with the academy, just running the online academy, the Tucson Art Academy online. But I love teaching and love sharing information. And the video on values, you guys probably saw that it just exploded. I don't know why, but it just went nuts. Any tips? Question? Any tips on how to see values of highly saturated color? I find that very hard to do. So you're talking about the value of color. It's a good question. So we have tools now, like literally these gadgets on our phone. When you grayscale something with your phone, like take a picture of it, that's a good starting point. But you can't use that all the time, right? It is a sort of a definitely like a practice, right? If you're struggling with seeing tips, seeing value of highly saturated color, so uh, it's I wish I can, like, if there was like a formula, but there isn't any, because color is sort of three-dimensional. So it has value and it's got chroma, right? Too. So you can have a light value like a yellow, but it's very intense in chroma. So it kind of jumps forward too. So it is a three-dimensional thing basically. But I think, again, I think just thinking in terms of values first, not just think, but practice it with black and white paint. Once you master that, then you move forward to color. Um, Squinting is wonderful. It's always a good old way of squinting down. Then you're not seeing the color as much. That's one thing that I would suggest to you, to see the value of the color rather than the intensity, the chroma of the color. That I think that's a good good method of, because we always have our eyes, and so we can squint down. I mean, you can use filters and things too, but squinting down is probably the best technique, I would say. um, yeah, to do so. Yeah, when you squint down like on this painting, then if you squint down on it, the color kind of disappears, right? And you see more value. If you get squint right now, squint down, and then the color just disappears for the most part. Yeah, that's a good way of getting past the chroma, the intensity of that color, and say, what value is it? Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing it. Don't be shy with your questions. I'm here. This is a free Q&A I'm doing. I usually, this happens in a class, usually, not just kind of jumping on YouTube. But I see about, I don't know, 4 or 5 of you that are on, and about 7, 8 people before, roughly on. So if you have any other questions, ask away. I was showing these. Um, this painting here, this is a big value shift, like huge. You can't miss it, right? But then you have more subtle ones, like this one. It's not as apparent, right? There's things in the background that are lighter in value and cooler in temperature. So sometimes it's not as subtle, or not as apparent, I should say. And sometimes it's more subtle, more apparent. So it depends. Then color comes in also, because then you can cool things off with your blues as things recede in the distance. Deborah, quilters take photos. It's amazing what you can see in your pieces in any medium through the photo. And she says that you just don't notice looking right away. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, photography. I mean, take a picture, and it's almost, sometimes you can things, right? Or you can flip it upside down. That's a good way too. So we have electronic gadgets that can help us, and then again, the squinting usually works because it gets rid of the values. I mean, the color, and then you see values more and more. Yeah, I don't know if I can share my screen. Share. Oh, I can share my screen too. I'm just looking at YouTube what I can do to share my screen with it. I don't have any paintings per se set up, but you guys can kind of see the studio a little bit. Um, yeah, any questions that you guys have? I think there's about 10 of you online. If you're just joining, where are you guys from? You can type it into the inbox. It's kind of fun to know. I live in Arizona, so we're going into our brutal heat in southern Arizona. So I'm not looking forward to that. But make sure you get out. One of the other big things to help you is paint from life. I didn't say plein air painting. I said paint from life. That means you can be inside, middle of winter. Okay, this whole plein air thing, it's just kind of became a joke. I think it's just painting from life. That's all it is. That's all it is. You have to paint from life. If there's one thing you can help your values with, is painting from life. Doesn't mean you have to be outside in landscape, blowing wind and whatever. If you want to be inside, set up just some simple objects, or you don't have to set up anything. Just paint your room, start looking at values, and then you will get better with it. That's another thing too, that you will get better with values by just painting from life. Observing from life is one of the best ways to improve with your values. Yeah. How many of you are painting from life? I mean, can you say yes, no, or do you paint from life? Yes, no, yes, yes. Give me a Y for yes and an N for no. Because if you're using if you're still learning and using photography as your reference, then you're not going to learn that much. You're going to kind of stick in that middle part. You're never going to advance. I have. Okay, Deborah have. Okay. Anybody else? I know about 5, 6 of you are on live right now. Yes, 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 no, yes. Don't be shy. I mean, I'm just trying to help you guys. It's not. It's you can use photographs. There's nothing wrong with photographs, but once you gained your knowledge from life, that's when you can kind of bring it. Jan says not often. So Jan, I suggest again, you don't have to go outside, but set up a little still life. It could be literally simple as some cups, some objects, and paint from life. Yeah. What have you learned that could have made your career journey a lot easier? There is no easy way to the top. I can tell you that right now. One thing I can tell you right off, but there is no easy. There's no such thing as easy. Every person has their own journey. Um, I heard one of the best sayings that without hard work doesn't guarantee you success, but you will not stand a chance. So, painting from life is one of the biggest things that I can tell all of you that will help you ultimately. I always tell students that there's a reason why life drawing is from a model. It's not from a photograph, right? They don't wheel in a big photograph of the model. It's the model itself. So, urban sketchers, yep, yeah, go out, yeah. Um, and yeah, so cognitu, yeah, was asking me that questions about career. Again, a different journey. I can't speak for someone else, but um, some days are harder than others, and you just got to plow through. You have to love what you're doing. I'm just looking around. As far as values go, I was going to grab another painting, but I don't know if some of you came on, but I was just kind of showing some paintings with values. How important values are to make things go back in space. Values are the key. It's how light or dark something is. It's not per se color, although at some point color can what do you call it, make a difference. Because when you look at those some of those illustrations, like the golden age of illustrations back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, they're black and white. There's some black and white illustrations, and you forget about color. You don't even looking at color. You're just looking how beautifully it's drawn, designed, and the value. And that's the power of color. I mean, the power of values, not color. And color is more. There's a lot more feeling, but the backbone is the value, and truly drawing the backbone. So I know it's funny because I see people popping in live in and out, and I'm giving like a super valuable lesson right now. It's funny how people drop off. Like, I think I got that. I got the values. That kind of makes me smile a little bit because when I say fundamentals, it doesn't mean it's easy, and it's kind of interesting. I've taught many workshops over the years, and never enter into a class thinking that you know that you can't figure this out. And the teacher, it depends on the teacher though, but um, that it's just fundamentals. Oh, I've seen that before. I'm past it. No, no one's really past it. If you don't pay attention to this anytime in your painting, you're gonna have issues in the painting. So ask away, guys. Any questions you have, please do. You guys are quiet, so you know everything. My teacher said, if you're quiet, then you guys know everything. So you have no other questions. That's it. You can ask other questions, by the way, other than values, value questions. It's more. I know it's more of a visual thing. Teaching, painting, but there's plenty of visuals online, and that's why the videos that I put up are a little bit more philosophical thing, not just visual. There's plenty of bad demonstrations on YouTube, and there's some good ones. There's some good painters that are on YouTube. Um, Guys, ask questions. I'm here for you. I just did this live for all of you. Um, I don't want to just chit chat to the camera. So yeah, if you have any other questions regarding anything with fine art, drawing is also. I mean, this it starts at design. Actually, everything starts at design. That's where it starts. Forget about drawing and all the other stuff to its design. That's where it starts. Um, and how do you arrange elements in your painting? And that's one of the things that I see people struggling with is how to place elements, how to take things out, and how to arrange elements. So actually, I'm going to be doing I recorded how you use Procreate. I don't know if you guys use Procreate, the software Procreate, but we use it at the academy. So this is only for people that have iPads because it only works on the iPad, but it's going to involve just design. That's it. How to design your photographic elements. Obviously, it's photos because we do it online. So, and I'm going to have that class up. Well, it's not a class. Well, it is a class. It'll be a membership thing. Hold on. You guys are okay. You guys are asking questions. How can artists continue to thrive in this new AI world? That's one of the questions. Um, how to thrive in this new AI world? Foundational principles are foundational principles. As far as art goes, it's never going to change. 1,000 years from now, it's the same thing. Number one is the human creativity. You guys are individuals. Every single one of you, are individual people that have unique visions, and you have to put that out. Don't let the market drive you, but let your own vision speak, because there's only one of you, and that's a unique vision that you have. That's definitely going to be around forever. Physical paintings like these, you can actually touch, right? You can touch them. I don't know. I'm sure they're going to come up with robots that already have it, but the human connection, and even here, like what we're doing right now, it's not gonna. I don't see that changing at all. So I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah. Let's see. What do you recommend for studio lighting? I can't seem to avoid getting glare on my paintings. These days with LEDs, they're so nice because they don't warm up. It depends on the height of your ceiling too, but there's so many choices now. It's kind of hard to say, but I'll give some links. Maybe I'll do some little research. Um, you can do some clip-on lights. Yeah, there's plenty of choices out there. I'll give you guys some links afterwards, and you can shoot me an email too. By the way, let's see. I will do that. Where do you consider your lighting? Do you paint with primary systems or double primaries? No, I don't. I don't get into double primary system. I don't have a system. I have a fairly simple palette. It's titanium white, ultramarine blue, ivory black, yellow ochre, raw sienna. I have my cat lemon. I have alizarin crimson, burnt sienna. I might add some stronger colors here and there depending, but that's about it. So I don't overcomplicate that. Um, what do you recommend? Okay, you paint primary system, double primary. I would be interested in lighting too. All right, I'll do something afterwards. I'll give some links. You can always email me, and I'll give you the. Maybe I can do a little PDF. Put a little PDF that I find. One PDF, and see what lighting systems you have. I mean, sometimes you don't. Some of them you might need an electrician if that's the route you're going. Other ones don't. You don't need one. Just clip it. Yeah, the primary system. Yeah, I'm still learning about mixing my own colors. So there's only three colors, three mother colors, right? And plus white. It's pretty simple. I mean, if you want to really break it down. Um, and let me go back to the primary system, double primary. I see what you mean. Hog Hair Studios was asking about that. Is to put your easel past 90 degrees and it cuts the glare. Yeah, but if you put it past 90 degrees, you're skewing things too. So be careful about skewing, right? Your 90 degree. But yes, you can help it a little bit with the glare. Yeah, as far as colors go, if you're having a tough time with colors, just use your primary colors, the mother colors, right? Plus white. That yeah, it's and once you get better with color, then you can start adding other colors into it. But ultimately, most colors could be mixed within reason within from those mother colors, right? You just have to mix more. It's more mixing going on to get the other colors. So therefore, we already, when you buy a pre-mixed color like a burnt sienna, you don't have to mix these other colors to get the burnt sienna. It's kind of like dog food, right? We buy it because it's easy to pour out. Which we don't do that to our dogs. We feed them raw. But yeah, shoot away the questions you guys have. I use watercolors, so I rarely use white. Okay, so with watercolors, you use the white of your paper, obviously. So that's what I studied for years and years. That's what I painted at the American Academy of Art. I had a great watercolor teacher, Irving Shapiro. So that's what I painted. I didn't even know anything about oils at all whatsoever. That was back in my early. I was 18 when I went to art school at the American Academy of Art, and that's what I learned. And then in my mid-20s, where I started messing with oils. But watercolor is a wonderful medium, beautiful medium. And if you love that, and then continue painting with that. Yeah, watercolor is a little different in the sense of the primaries because you don't. But same thing. It's your primary colors that you're mixing. And in art school with watercolor, we were not allowed to use green on our palette, and the reason is because he wanted us. We call him Mr. Shapiro. I still call him that. Wanted us to learn how to paint, how to mix greens. Okay, so again, I urge any of you that are watching this, as far as color goes, if you're struggling, just get back to your mother colors, your three primaries plus white. If you're using oils, with watercolors, it's kind of similar concept. Obviously, no white, but you can, I mean, some people use white. You can use white with watercolor, transparent watercolor too, if you want. It's up to you. This whole transparent watercolor thing is, I don't care what medium it is. That's just a ridiculous thing in my opinion. So, any questions? You guys just quiet. You guys threw some questions at me, and then all of a sudden, like crickets. um, yeah. I'm looking at the box, the question box. I'm kind of I keep things simple as far as equipment and everything else. Yeah. Should I continue to do master copies? Nothing wrong with that. When I say continue, I don't know anything about how long you've been doing them. How much have you been doing master copies, or how often do you do it? Maybe you can type into the box. But they're great to do. But once you gain more knowledge, then you don't need them as much anymore because you're learning. But nothing wrong with doing them. Yep. And as long as obviously you don't want to be selling them as yours, you want to just use it for your own study and they're good. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I urge you to do them if you love to do them. Are values pretty much the same in any painting? Correct. Yeah, values are values. Doesn't matter what medium you're using. Okay, does not matter. Um, does not matter. Yeah. So let's see, and I'll get back to that question, Deborah, in a second. You're 60 years old. Started painting a year and a half ago. Doing master copies some 10 months. Great. Good. Yeah. Keep doing them. Yep. I would urge you to. I was talking about values. I don't know if you guys saw a couple of paintings. I was discussing values, and people see color here, like in this one too. They see the color, but it's more about values. Okay, it's not. That's in order of the steps involved, like here in this one too. It's more about, even though I have color in here, it's more about value as far as um, the order of things. Okay, that's really important to understand. Do not jump to color before you understand value. That's my main idea. Do you ever paint cityscapes? If so, can you show some? I have. I don't. I wish I could share my screen. I have. I love painting them. I lived. I went to school in Chicago, so I was in the city a lot. And yeah, I did. I don't do them as much anymore, but yes, if you do a search on my name, then you'll see some of my cityscapes pop up. Yeah. Oh, hi, Lori. Yeah, I know Lori. Um, yes. Let's see. Do you like oil prime surface or universal? I love the oil prime, the Clausen's 66. Beautiful. But a little warning to, and I know, Lori, you're more advanced, but some of you that are learning like oil painting, you don't have to spend money on the oil prime 66. It's called Clausen's 66. It's a very expensive panel, and your paintings are not going to be better because you paint on that. Once you start getting better and better, then you start appreciating that surface. So, but like this, let's see. This is actually on paper, guys. See this? But it's oil paint. So they make paper that is meant for oil paints. It's very absorbent. If you don't like the absorbency, you can put a coat of shellac over it. Okay, and then this is how it's going to look like. Once you put the shellac over it, it's going to have this yellow tint to it, but it's paper. But you can paint on this surface. So it's meant for to paint oils on the paper. It's just do a search. It says I'm forgetting the company's name, but do painting oils on paper. Oops, painting oils on paper, and you might like that surface. But these are mounted on. This is like Clausen's. You can't see that, but some of them I used. Even, oh yeah, this is like a Utrecht. This is like a Utrecht panel. So I you know I don't know. I use all surfaces. If that helps with uh, with that question, you know. And Maladen, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, just keep painting um, with drawing and painting with pencil and black and white paint, just to understand those values first. I believe it's a much better way of getting up to color. Deborah, could you recommend a good source of learning for learning perspective? Could you recommend a good source? Well, I'm the owner of Tucson Art Academy Online. We've had this online art school for a while, and so just go to Tucson Art Academy Online, and we have wonderful teachers. I'm not teaching on the platform because we're just busy with running the school, and Lori have taken classes from us too, and we're not big, but we have very good instructors, very good teachers. So that's what I would recommend. Do you use complementary um, Hug here Studio says, do you use complementary gradation or gradation from black and white? Gradation. I don't understand the question. Do you use complementary gradation or gradation from black and white? I'm not, maybe you can clarify your question. I just literally do not understand what this gradation, what you're referring to. I'm ready. Lori says, I'm ready for the class in sixes. Has been loving watching Matt Smith paint on it. Yeah. Um, Good. Yeah. If you're ready for the class in 66, go ahead. It's a beautiful, you'll love it. Yeah. If you're ready for it. Um, but some of you out there that are watching this, even the cotton duck, it's good. Just the acrylic prime canvas is good. But again, the paper, give it a shot with the paper. I like it. It's really absorbent if you using it as is. So you might hate it, but then you can put a coat of shellac you can get from the hardware store put on there. So, um, but yeah, the academy, or Tucson Art Academy online is the one that you want to look for. We have some, we have 7 teachers. Simon is a sculptor, but we have about 6 painters on there that I think you would really enjoy taking classes from. But I'm putting together a Procreate class for using Procreate. And Procreate is the coolest little software. It's like $10, $12. You have to have an iPad for it, but it interacts with your photos that you take with your phone. So right away you can start editing the photos. And I see one of the main, even before values, is design. I mean, drawing for sure, but design. How do you arrange elements? I see issues with that. So that's what that like mentorship class course will be. I'm gonna have that out soon. So are you using complements to grade down the chrome of color? Or using black and white chrome software? Yeah. When I was talking about the black and white, I was just referring to black and white. Literally, that's it. You can use complementaries to grade down. Obviously, yes. Now we're talking more color. Yeah. Yes. That's to Hog Hair Studios. Yeah, black and white into chroma so often. You got to be careful with black putting into color because it can really gray it down. So you got to be really careful with it. But yes, you can use black to grade things down. Absolutely. Yeah. And your complementaries. Yep. That's how you grade stuff. Because there's nothing worse than looking at a painting and you can see they just squeezed the paint out of the tube and slapped it on the canvas. It's horrible. Um, I mean, I work out my composition. Okay. Lori uses, I'll have it. It's going to be like a subscription thing, but I'm going to give support and also help with design. Specifically, it's going to be about design. I'm not dipping into color stuff or anything. I want to keep it to design. I think there's a class I think with Procreate that I think needs to be out there. Another question: from your experience teaching students, what would you say holds them back the most? What do students struggle to grasp? The big one is value. Values is a huge thing. Values is one of the big ones that holds students back, even though they want to do color. But I think also design is a big one. So I would say, in order of things, is design and value. Those are the 2 big ones. And drawing has to be there too. If you're going to draw, figures or animals, so color is way at the end, way at the end, way at the end. You got to go, but thank you for this today. Oh, you're welcome, Deborah. I'll practice with the muted colors. Yeah, practice with the muted colors. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's what I would say. And it's just a lot of times it's ourselves that we hold ourselves back in many ways from things. So don't listen to others, too much about advice. Make sure that you have advice from very few people that are actually wanting you to grow and help you to be a better painter. That's a not an easy one to find, but you want them to be honest with you too, because I can tell you you're great. Oh, you're how wonderful you are all the time, but you're not going to learn anything. So that's I'm not too hard on the students, but I want to be realistic with all of you, and because I want you to grow. Otherwise, the teacher that tells you how great you are all the time, you're not going to learn much. Remember back in school, you remember those teachers. Oh, that teacher was mean, but back then, but now, like, oh, actually, well, that's the teacher I remember. I learned a lot from. um, Somebody says, I love to paint from life, but sometimes gotta use photos. But the distortion in photos drives me crazy. How can you correct this before painting? Well, my answer to that is that how do you know if a coin is fake or real? You know it because you know the real coin. So that's why painting and drawing from life, you know when the camera distorts and where to correct it, right? It's more of a visual to show, but you know it. You answered it yourself. You know it. You see it. So by painting and drawing from life more, not more, but you get that up to a level, then you'll see right away that when you get your photograph back, it's like I can adjust that. It's okay. I just override it. It's the camera distorting. Yeah, but students fall into the trap. Yeah, it's not a trap, but it's they rely on photos. They don't have the experience from life, and therefore they follow the camera. And I see the painting, and people put this stuff online. It's like, oh my gosh, you gotta that river. Let's gotta lay down more. It's like you're looking at it like this, where it was more like this. It's distorting things. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's a good question. Definitely a good question. Any questions you guys have? Any other questions that you're struggling with? Uh, I'm just looking at the feed. If you guys have any questions, I love answering students, by the way, and I think this is important too. I mean, it's not about demonstrating stuff too. It's about having a discussion too, right? I think that's important to have. It's uh, it's not always visual. It could be expressed in words too. I mean, ultimately, it's a visual language. Yes, I know that, but we need to. That's why when you read a book, it could be useful about art, even though it's not nuts and bolts. Make sure you get this book from Bill Reese. Where's the book? It's called The Painter's Process. Hold on, let me grab it. Don't go anywhere. The Painter's Process. Oops, I don't know. It's probably if I could, I would make this book mandatory before you would take a class, any kind of class. It's such a good book. It's not a how-to book. It's more of a conversation. It's called the Painter's Process. I'll put it into the chat. The Painter's Process by William Reese. William. I'm gonna type it in. Reese. Yeah, that's the book. I put it into the chat, and it's a must read. It's literally one of the best books written about art to art students about art. It ranks up there with Robert Henry, to all these, a couple of those books that you guys, I'm sure, maybe you heard of. Um, yeah, Bill was great. Bill passed away. I think it was late, 20, 15, 16, something like that, 14, something like that, maybe a little earlier. But his voice still, and his paintings are great. So check out his paintings. Yeah, it's great. It's a great book. It's a wonderful book. That I highly recommend for all of you to read. It's not a hard to read book at all. That's so I have that was the hard copy, but if I go on, let me give you the link. Bill Reese, William. No, it's not $400. It's hold on. Let me go on his website. Bill, you can go on his website. Let me give you the link. William Reese, artist, oil. Anything. Because be careful. There's another. I think when you put in William Reese. So let me see Bill Reese. I'll put in Bill Reese. William F. Reese. It's William F. Reese. I don't know why it's giving me this. Okay, books. I'm on that. You can't see my screen, but I'm gonna give you the link. This is the page. No, the book the book is $60 or $80. That's what it is. And Fran is his wife's name. So Fran will ship out the book if you go through his website. So it's not $400. I mean, somebody could be selling it for $400, but it's not. Um, yeah. Okay. So you guys have any other questions that you may have for me? I'll try to do another live in the future. It's kind of fun to just kind of hang out and talk art. Yeah. Any other questions? I'll be more than happy to answer it. Or maybe afterwards, I'm sure people will answer some questions because I think once this stops, then it'll be posted on my feed, and I'm sure some of you may have questions. Yeah, I'll check the feed, and thanks for hanging in here with me. I'll see you guys next time. Just keep away at those values. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. All right, guys. Take care.